Soon as I hit record. What is up, everyone? I am the one and only Mike Liordi. I'm pretty sure I'm the one and only. I'm here in my rehearsal room in Orange County, California. Thank you for checking out State of My Art Podcast, where I chat with fellow creatives about their projects, message, and journey to give you inspiration, ideas, and entertainment. This week, it's episode 21. We are really doing it. I sit down and chat with my good friend, Scott Svikla, in Poway, San Diego, California. He's grown up playing in several bands, and he's played session guitar in a bunch of bands as well, including Weatherbox, Hotel Books, and my good friends Forever Came Calling. He also used to be the manager and head booker of San Diego's famous all-ages legendary venue, Epicenter. We get into all of that as well as his new two-piece shoegaze project, Mid-Sleeper. So be on the lookout for new music from Mid-Sleeper and be sure to follow them on Instagram at Mid-Sleeper. My conversation with Scott Svikla took place in Poway, San Diego, California on January 3rd, 2021. All right, we're really doing it.
Here we are.
With Scott Svikla.
We're really doing it.
Which means rock in
Hungarian.
In Hungarian.
And that's me, Scott the Rock.
Is that your background, Hungarian?
My father's father is obviously Hungarian.
Cool.
So that makes me a little bit Hungarian.
I played in Budapest 4 years ago.
Nice. How'd you like it?
I loved it.
Yeah?
It was a small show because, we didn't really know how to promote or anything. But there were like 5 people who were so stoked on us and still, comment on my YouTube stuff. And
that's cool, man.
So shout out to Hungary.
Dude, Eastern European. It's an underrated side of the country, It
really is.
Food's great, people are nice, and it's slightly cheaper, so I would love to go back there one of these days.
We had catering that show, and it was like...
Did you have goulash?
I think it was goulash.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So it's like a piece of bread, but it's almost like a bowl.
Yeah, it's really like...
It's like a pizza with no cheese.
Sure, yeah.
And soup.
Yeah, it was very soupy. That was the word I was going to describe, but Hungarian goulash, that's the way to go.
It was good, man. Yeah.
That's cool.
Thanks for being on, man.
Yeah, of course. We're really doing it.
Where are we?
We're in Old Poway Park right now. So we're in San Diego, California, Poway.
Sweet.
Which is a hometown band that everyone loves here. I think you know it.
I always get the Blink vibes in Poway. I used to see a girl down here.
Oh, cool.
She lived in...
What's her name, Josie?
No.
That'd be cool.
What's that ranch? Scripps Ranch?
Scripps, yeah. Okay.
So is that in Poway or just outside?
Yeah, it's like on the outskirts of Poway. It's considered like Scripps Poway Parkway. You're like around the cuff of it, but it's Poway in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time up there.
I'd just geek out. We'd go see the Poway High School, and I'd be like, this is where it all started.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah, Tom's parents' house is like a couple blocks that way.
Wild,
so
man.
we're right in the heart of everything. So, but yeah, man, this is my upbringing. This is where I grew up and born and raised. My parents' house is like 2 or 3 miles down this way. I lived off that street right there for a few years with Chris Dykes, fishing for chips.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, we had a house like right down there. You can almost kind of see it.
Yeah, I love those dudes.
Yeah, they're a bunch of clowns.
They're hilarious.
Love those guys. Yeah, but yeah, man, this is my upbringing. Lived here for 31 years, and I just recently moved to Philadelphia, so I'm back here for the holidays.
Okay.
Seeing my family, enjoying this beautiful weather before I hit back up the East Coast on Wednesday.
Right on. And
Yeah.
so, I want to talk about that too, because you recently joined Ready, Set, Survive.
About a year ago, yeah,
Okay.
a year and a half ago. And
So
then-
are you still going to be playing with them and just coming back here whenever?
Yeah, so I've been here for 3 weeks, and my past 3 weeks of staying here, we've jammed a handful of times and did some acoustic stuff and just trying to get ready for a new record. And, we're trying to utilize this downtime, and, technology is so prevalent these days. You can do anything, anywhere.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been jamming with them for like a year. It's been fun. It's been a blast. It's like a big family, I was talking to Sean about this yesterday. We were texting last night. We were getting emo about everything, about just life and everything. But I was like, yeah, I really appreciate how you guys like treat the band as like a brotherhood, a family, and then you do your music stuff. So they really check in with each other and really care and really love each other, which is really cool. I haven't played in many bands like that in a while.
That is important. That is, and I see that in them for sure.
Yeah, those goofballs, those lovable goofballs. But,
yeah, goofballs, but they like totally, you know, are down to earth and real and care about each other.
Yeah, they all have hearts of gold. So shout out Troy, Sean, and Mo, Tiffany, Lauren, and Sam, the wives too.
Yeah.
Lyric, Fender, the whole family. You know
Gibson,
them all.
yeah.
Gibson, yeah. You know the whole.
I used to take that dog Fender for walks with my girlfriend every like second week because I was living illegally in El Cajon out of a rehearsal studio.
Okay. So,
long story, but
yeah.
it was like 2 minutes from Troy's place.
Right,
so.
yeah, off Bradley Court up there.
Yeah.
I'm going there tomorrow. I'm borrowing one of his guitars, so I'll see him tomorrow. I'm gonna drop it off. So I'll
say hi to Fender for me.
Absolutely. It's a sweet dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So like I said, just here enjoying the beautiful weather. I've been going to the beaches a lot and trying to write. Yeah, I have a new project I'm doing with a friend here from Poway. It's like an online kind of project thing. We haven't physically met up at all, which is cool, obviously for practical reasons, but we're trying to do something different. It's a friend of mine from high school. Her name's Kendall Sally, and we're doing like a shoegazy, kind of like dream pop, airy.
Okay. Do you guys have a name for it yet?
Yeah, we just came up with a name today, actually. It's called Mid Sleeper.
Nice.
The first single is going to be called Dream Alone, and that's going to premiere soon, and blah, 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 all of that. So it's cool because it's a style of music I've never really played before, and every like band I start, not excluding touring projects, but like bands that I play, and I try and do like different styles of music to kind of push my musical ability. So this is really in left field, which is really cool. So she just texted me a mix like right as we were setting up, so I'll listen to it afterwards.
Sweet.
But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Something different.
Congrats on actually deciding on a name, man. That's tough.
Yeah, man. I feel like, I don't know, like I've never had like sleeping issues or anything, but during COVID, during this whole year, it's been kind of just wacky. You know, everyone's mental health is, no, I shouldn't say everyone, but you know, mental health is a big thing this year.
At some point, yeah, it hits everyone.
Yeah, and you know, sleep affects your day. It affects everything, and you know, some days have been better than others, especially with me relocating so suddenly to the East Coast and adjusting to new things, and you know, sleep is a big key factor in how you live your life, and it hasn't been the best lately, and that's kind of why I've been listening to like different styles of music, and so that kind of correlates to that, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Yeah, so it's more.
What's I already forgot the name because I'm
right.
sleep deprived.
There you go. Join the club. Mid Sleeper.
Mid Sleeper.
Yeah, so
nice.
it's very like shoegazy and just dream pop and just
it
something.
That, yeah,
kind of the Cure influenced a little bit,
Sweet.
but just trying to do something away from punk rock or metal or hardcore, which I love all those genres, but just trying to do something new and trying to push the boundaries. Be on the lookout for that. Yeah,
and I'm sure a little bit of those influences that you grew up with will like tie into it, and that's how you get something unique and original, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to be a melting pot and just putting all of your influences in a bucket and just pouring it out. You know.
And you play guitar in that band?
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I did guitar, bass, and then my friend Kendall was doing vocals and synths and doing some programmed drums right now. So
it's just a two-piece? Yeah,
just a two-piece. Two kids from Poway High. That she's the only person from my class that is still playing music, and like we keep up with each other, and like, you're still playing music? Like, yeah, you still playing music? Like one of those kind of things. Like, we should do something, and here we are. So yeah, it'd be cool, man. Looking forward to that. Right on, dude. Yeah. Well, I guess I should let my viewers know the significance of this rekindled relationship and how we kind of re-met the other day. So we were recently on I Want to Party with Bob podcast. Shout out to him. Yeah. That was cool, where I got 0 questions right on the trivia. Dude, when we got off of the podcast, I was like, am I allowed to cuss? Yeah, you can swear. Whatever. I was like, shoot, I should have let him have the question, because it was a Cheshire Cat answer, and it was like as soon as he was like, band from Poway, it's like both of us like rose our hand, you know, it's like, it's, you know, what's coming, like, but yeah, I'm sorry, I should have given you that answer. There was no way I was winning that, even if I got that one answer anyway. Anyways, but yeah, so that's But yeah, you can, of course you can cuss. We're in Poway, the home of cussing. That's true, yeah. But yeah, I only met you actually 2015. Sounds because right. I was touring through, desperately trying to get into the Epicenter, because that was like on my top 10 bucket list venues I needed to play growing up as a huge boxcar racer fan, and that being like their small little like
opening venue that they first played at.
Oh yeah.
Were you the promoter back then when they did that?
For that time frame, no. I started booking. I guess my time I started there was probably shortly after that in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Just attending shows, just volunteering. You know what you do, like when you're younger, going to shows.
So it was very DIY then, like community, whoever wanted to help could help.
Yeah, in the early days, yeah.
Okay.
When we had a different set of management, it was for anyone in like my time that hung out there or worked there, it was very loose, like there was always the same set of people coming in for free when they weren't supposed to, and all that stuff. But so essentially I started volunteering there, just hanging out, before you can drive, before you can consume alcohol, legally and all of that. You're just there having fun. So I spent my time volunteering there, and then I started performing there a lot with one of my early bands. And then I got a job as an event staff, so doing all the bitch work, cleaning up the green rooms, just cleaning up the parking lot, selling water. And then I worked my way up to like a booking assistant, and then the manager left, so I applied, I got his job, and then I got the venue manager job within a year. So I was kind of overseeing the whole entire building. Yeah, so it was cool. Met a lot of cool people, did all the bookings. I did all of like the teen activities. I had to, formulate ideas and generate income. So I got like karate classes, art painting classes, Alcoholics Anonymous, AA classes, just shit like that. And
they would have those at the Epicenter?
Yeah, like during the day.
Okay.
Yeah, like during the day. It was a youth center, but with exceptions here and there. And basically what I gained from that was I met a lot of cool people. I booked a lot of cool bands. It got me into a lot of touring projects, which took me around the world like you. I got to make my living through playing music, through booking music, like all throughout the Epicenter. And then that also led me to book at other venues around San Diego for bands that can sell over 500 tickets, or bands that would do better in like a bar kind of setting like Casbah.
Sure.
So I got to know a lot of people in the city and around, a bunch of touring bands. Yeah, it was cool, man. We met there, and I remember when you came in, you're this giant Canadian dude. You were the first one there. That's amazing when a band's there on time. And yeah, you were professional with your light show. You were just on top of everything. So I
eventually made a T-shirt that was a silhouette of me and the Toronto skyline, and it says the really tall Canadian with way too much gear. That's how people pretty much remember me.
Yeah, and being that it was a teen center, like it was, there were difficulties. Generating revenue. We didn't sell alcohol. We couldn't, because we were across the street from the high school, police station in high school. So there was always like some kind of lack of income there. So I apologize I couldn't pay you a little more on the dates there.
That was
But moreover, it's like, because I've been in your shoe. I've been in that situation, so I know how much it sucks to make X dollars over X dollars, So.
I was going to say, when you were talking about how all these venue contacts and how you climbed your way to the top of that venue, and how small the music scene shrinks down to, if you're a stand-up dude, which you are, and
thank you.
I mean, I got used to getting paid $50, $100 everywhere, so don't apologize. I figured out a strategy to make that work.
Right.
And that was, through having a solid merch game and having a tight-knit, almost friendship following. None of my fans are really like fans. They're more so like friends
now at this point. Yeah,
they put me up. They make me
cook
food.
They do your laundry, and so that $50 you make goes to gas instead of the hotel. That's cool, man. That's really remarkable to hear that, because that's a good bond with your fans and your friends. But towards the tail end, I was there for almost 10 years. I was there from 2005 to 2015, right before it shut down. So towards the tail end, I'll go into detail about everything. I don't give a fuck anymore. But so towards the tail end, the Epicenter was owned by a nonprofit organization called Harmonium. And Harmonium didn't really know how to look at a venue. So that's why they had to hire people with experience like me and whatnot. They got a new set of management that imposed a bunch of different rules on us and affected my role. And basically it was like, you need to have bands sell more tickets. You need to have the local bands. So you got to draft up the contract. That bullshit, the pay to play.
I've seen it across the country. Venues
it fucking
like
blows,
that way,
In high school, it's cool, because you can slang it to your friends in the middle of math class. I miss those days. I miss doing that, but not when you're growing up. So anyways, I got hit, hard from the management. Like, you got to do this, you got to do this. If a band doesn't give you this, tell them to do the ATM. They just implemented an ATM inside the Epicenter because of that.
To pay to play.
Yeah, so, I'm imposing that, and everyone thinks that, like, oh, dude, that's all that Scott wants, or that's all the Epicenter wants is money, money, money. It's like, yes, but no, it's going back into the building to keep this place open so you guys can come play. Mm-hmm. That, and then, Soma was obviously killing it all the time. House of Blues side stage had better, the side stage at House of Blues was doing a lot, like the similar kind of shows, because their overhead was cheaper. Ironic was opening in North Park, which is another all-ages club.
And House of Blues could sell drinks, and now Soma sells drinks too.
That's true, yeah, on the main stage shows. So there was just a lot of factors going in, and they just wanted to increase everything, just as with supply and demand goes. Yeah. That fell on me. If I wasn't hitting the numbers, it's like I got my ass handed to. And basically, long story short, I sat in all the monthly revenue meetings and all that, and like, this is not going well. So I was the first one to kind of know, like, hey, this isn't going well. By this time next month, you can be unemployed. And there was some other shit going on behind the scenes too with management that was just shady and seedy. And I was about to leave for a month-long tour, and I put in my 2 weeks because I didn't see it getting better, and it was hard, man. And they increased our rental rate too, so when outside promoters would rent out the building, it just skyrocketed. It's like what promoters would pay at House of Blues would be like the equivalent to Epicenter. It's like, why would you want to rent out a shit teen center when I can go to House of Blues? But anyways, the positive takeaway is, I met a whole bunch of people, joined a bunch of bands. A few of the bands that I joined those, I got to go travel around the world and make a living doing it, all from Epicenter, and met cool fucking people like you, and here we are.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably one of the toughest businesses to run an all-ages venue, especially in a big city.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, man.
Because you're competing with these other places that have a liquor license and the ability to be all ages, which usually comes down to food, which is strange.
Yeah.
But that place, it was like the defining all ages venue for, the MySpace days to kind of when
the whole pop punk explosion kind of came back.
Yeah, or just even DIY live music in general kind of nosedove with a lot of those venues who had to implement pay to play.
Yeah,
which is sad. And even myself, I kind of became. I'd hate to say it, but in some places I became a little bit of a pay-to-play promoter, a traveling pay-to-play promoter.
Right.
I never got any flack from it because I was always really fair with the bands, and the bands were just stoked to be making money, and no one ever had to pay out of pocket. That's when I think the line is crossed, even though it has to happen.
Yeah.
At places like what's that place in Anaheim? Chain.
Yeah.
Which I finally said, fuck it, I'll pay $500 to play
just
there
to play
and try and sell 30 tickets if I can.
Yeah.
And it ended up being one of the biggest and most exciting.
That's sweet, man.
30 minutes of my life.
Yeah, and Chain's as legendary as Epicenter or Soma. Chain. I think Chain is way more legendary than these clubs down here. But man, it sucks, but it just sucks that, because I've been there, in the early stages of my band. I know how much it sucks to sell tickets and I felt like the bad guy doing it, but it's but I look like the money-driven villain, but it's full circle, man. You're putting money into the venue to stay open so your band can perform, so more larger bands could play, so you can open for them, so you can gain a fan base. But when you're trying to explain that to an 18-year-old, it's he just wants money. So, exactly. But it's you see it full circle. And I'm sure you do.
Like any business, as technology progresses, things get more challenging, and that's the way I kind of look at it now. From an online presence and streaming platforms, barely paying bands anything, to live venues where you're lucky to get $1 per head you bring.
Yeah.
Barely paying you anything. You have to have some sort of vision and plan amongst all the chaos and saturation of all the other bands trying to do this same heroic goal that is really, really hard to accomplish, especially in the all ages scene.
Yeah.
Where you really need to kind of capitalize on your merch game. And even the bands on big labels now,
it's all
coming out of the
sales.
gate, they're more merch. Like we talked about Grayscale on the podcast before.
Yeah,
those guys are
from Philly.
Traveling merch store.
Art show.
I can't imagine what their books look like as far as how much they make off of their merch, and it probably looks more like an H&M spreadsheet than a touring band.
But yeah, man,
it works.
It works, and you got to get creative. And there's so many bands figuring out new ways now to generate income, especially during COVID, which is actually pretty damn remarkable. But it's always good to have that one guy or girl in your band that just has the marketing sensibility that can think outside of the box to make a few bucks.
Yeah. I
can't do that.
That's another big solution to the ongoing challenging ladder of being in a band is you need to sort of spread it out amongst the band to have different jobs, which all the bands that make it have that, and there's no there's no member in the band who just gets to play music.
I was with Mid Sleeper, I was texting Kendall last night. I'm like, God damn it, I have to make like an Instagram now and a Facebook and so like, can you do this? Like, this is not my thing, but it's exciting doing like the ground up thing again for certain aspects, but there are things I don't miss about it because I've always had like a management or like a PR team that just handles all the bitch work, and I was like, oh man, I have to do this now. But it's exciting in its own kind of way, to watch your baby grow.
Right, I get that. Like it's exciting in the beginning stages, especially, even though in the beginning stages it's the most work. But then it becomes like, man, what am I supposed to post today? Like, I don't want to. It's easy to start getting doubts about annoying your fans, or start doubting yourself, and the ongoing challenge of doubt from others and yourself is so hard these days with social media, which we've talked about a lot before too. And I keep, I'm sure it's getting to the point where it's annoying now, but I talk a lot about this video game idea of being like this DIY touring artist, and a lot of the experiences I've had kind of bringing it into a video game.
That's
almost
fucking
like
sick.
Tony Hawk made a video game out of his experiences.
Wow.
And
that's a grand idea. You should edit that out. So like, don't keep that in here just in case someone wants to.
Someone's gonna be like, that's a good idea and I can do it, which I would rather it happen than not. I don't think I can do it.
I'm surprised like Foo Fighters hasn't done that.
Right.
Like,
that's a good one.
Yeah, like they're gonna be the first band to play in outer space. They're gonna be the first band to hopefully not do the video game idea, but they're kind of always ahead of the game in some curve like that, It
would be so much damn work, but the idea of the game would be that like 2% of the game you're playing Guitar Hero, hitting little colors, and the other 98% of the game you're like driving 20 minutes to the venue, dodging trucks, you're parking the trailer, you gotta get it right, and
loading down the stairs.
Your menu is your phone, and you have to handle social media, and if you don't post on social media, and then you also have like your health level is like your happiness level, like you don't want to get too depressed, but you don't want to get too hyped because then bad things will happen.
You drink like coffee, get like coffee shots on the way to boost your way up.
Yeah, you need coffee.
Coffee's essential.
Stay awake at the wheel. Yeah, totally.
That's genius, man.
It'd be a fun game.
You need to patent that quickly. Seriously, I would play that for fun.
I had a game designer, for lack of better words. He's a software developer for a lot of companies on the podcast like 2 episodes ago. Yeah. David Hagler. Yeah. And he showed me this like world he's making online. So it could be like an online phone game too. But
yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, I'd play the shit out of that.
A lot of people would be like, "This is stupid. This is not what I thought being in a band is like." I quit.
Yeah. Well,
as many people do in real life.
Right. It looks all glorious. You've seen that meme. It looks all glorious and a party on the road, but it's a lot of work, man. It's hard. It's tiring, but it's rewarding at the end of the day.
Yeah, there's so many good band memes right now.
Yeah.
The band in the green room. What you think happens in the green room, and it's like all these chicks. And then
and it's
what really actually happens in the green room?
Everyone's just on their phone. Yeah. Yeah. It's never ending, man. What are some of your favorite cities in the States you've played?
Definitely San Diego. That's why I finally moved here.
Yeah, attaboy.
Orange County too is always really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oddly enough, I didn't expect Portland, Oregon to be one of my favorites.
It's like a bigger North Park. That's the way I describe it, like how I see it.
Yeah.
I love Portland.
Yeah, it is like North Park. And it's like the DIY music method and attitude is so accepted there.
Yeah.
I didn't really realize it until like my third time through, where I was like, I'm always coming out of this place with $500. Like, how is my system working so well here, so much better here than everywhere else?
Right.
And it's just the kids get it, the venues get it, they'll cut you deals. Like, they want the bands to grow just as much as they want their venue to grow. And
that's important.
That's why that city has so many venues and it's been so successful. I hope they're doing well through all this COVID.
Sure, yeah.
You know, I hope their live music is still as profitable and exciting.
Yeah,
and,
I hope so too, man.
After all this, I'm sure it will be. So many good bands have come out of there too.
Yeah. Did you ever play? I think it was Hawthorne Theater. It's like the double
I've been there.
story.
I've never
cool
played
venue.
there. It's amazing.
It's a sick venue.
My friend Annie worked there for a while, and a few of her friends worked there.
Cool.
Because she moved there from New York, because she was just like, Portland's awesome, and I was like, I finally see what all the hype's about.
Yeah, it's a growing city for sure, and a lot of artsy people. It's like my friend Kendall, who I'm doing this project with, her and her husband moved up to Portland for that reason.
Yeah.
They left San Diego to go up there, and we had the same conversation. It's like a melting pot of just a bunch of artists, whether
Creatives
it's music, whether it's
yeah.
art. Everyone just they mesh well there, and yeah, I would potentially like to end up there one of these days, but I'm on the opposite side of the coast now, so I can't. But
Philly's nice too. I was gonna say Philly's Philly's my favorite East Coast city for sure.
Yeah, it's nice. It's all right.
The Barbary, I played there a lot.
That place just shut down.
I'm not surprised, man.
And then
there's so many of those shutting down.
Voltage Lounge, it's another club, and Boots and Saddle. So like 3 clubs shut down, like right around Thanksgiving. Yeah, sad. But yeah, it's a cool town. I've played some kick-ass shows there, like in the past, but I've never had time to see the city every time we play there, because we always just jet up to New York or jet down to DC whenever we play. But now I've been there 5 or 6 times before physically moving there, so it was kind of weird to kind of like, wow, I've been here so many times, I played so many kick-ass shows, but never really seen the city. So it's weird and cool, but I'm an East Coaster now. What can I say? It's weird.
What made you move there?
My wife got a good job out there.
Okay.
So we relocated out there in October, and flying back there on Wednesday. So it's cold. It's very cold.
Yeah, it's cold in the winter. I don't think I've ever even been there in the winter. I'm always there in the summer, luckily.
Okay. I mean, it's cold, and you're in Canada, so it's you get the general. I mean, for me, coming from this to that, it's a big change, man.
Well, for the
change.
first time in a while, I had to shovel my parents' driveway because I was stuck in Canada in November.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, there's a little part of me that was like, oh, this is packing snow, let's make a snowman. This, a little kid in me came out. But, after half an hour, I'm like, I could have edited the podcast I'm working on right now. There's so many other things to do.
Right.
I don't mind the snow. I love snowboarding, but I want it as like a vacation, which San Diego's perfect. I can drive 2 hours to Big Bear and go snowboarding.
Yeah, and then you can drive 2 hours down to the beach and then 2 hours to the mountains. Like me and my dad used to do that when we were younger, because I grew up skiing and snowboarding and surfing. Nice. We wake up early and go up to Big Bear, go do like a half day, and then shoot down to the beach 2 hours later and go surfing. Did it all in one day just to say like you've done it. You know, it's so Southern California, like, dude, cowabunga, bro. But like, fuck it, I did it, and it's pretty cool. Not many people in the world can do that. Geographically can do that,
You still skate?
Dude, no, I used to skate a lot. Like there is a skate park like right over there.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of my youth at, but no, once I started playing guitar when I was younger, I kind of stopped, but I really want to get back into it one of these days. But I love Tony Hawk Pro Skater. My brother broke both of his arms like skating when we were younger.
I was just about to say, the injury is, as soon as I had like a scary injury, I no longer had the send it confidence. I was like,
Right. I guess, growing up in Southern California, I mean, you can attest to that now, like the whole skateboarding, surfing, punk rock. And this guy has a Poway High shirt on. Yeah, rock on. The whole like skateboarding, surfing, punk rock, snowboard, it worked so well together in Southern California, especially in this town, Poway. Besides Blank, Unwritten Laws from this town too. Yeah. And there were a lot of other like semi notable punk bands, Agent 51 and Pivot. Agent was on Billy Joe Armstrong's label for a minute, so they were touring with Green Day, like a band from Poway. but just that community, you know, like, so I was raised in that, my brother was, which, you know, transcended onto me. So it's just all that 90s like skate punk, Fat Records, Epitaph stuff. It's like just in the air here. Like,
totally.
So, and that's, I'm damn happy and proud to be like part of that upbringing, you know, like the class above me, I'm 32 now, but like the guys, you know, older than me, like some of my brother's friends, their older friends, like they had classes with Tom and they knew someone dated Tom's sister and met Tom, you know, and it's like, the dude is such a class clown. Like, he doesn't put on an act, you know, he's not putting on an act when he's doing that.
That's how he is all day, every day.
That's how he is, man. But what I'm getting at is like, just that culture is just so like extreme here, and I think it's still going on with like the new generation. I don't know, you know, I don't really.
Yeah, in a
I saw
different way.
At Epicenter, I saw it still like prevalent in the younger crowd, but it's cool. I got to see like like for my younger side of it, I got to see like the tail end of all that stuff, which is really cool. So
Totally.
It's like Unwritten Law. I used to play at church, like right up the street here, right off Midland, for like $5 back in the day. My mom,
Nice.
yeah, is that your timer? My mom would drive us there back in the day. But yeah, man, this town has a lot of history and just a lot of famous people came out of it, and yeah, it's my favorite place in the world. I won't lie.
Yeah, dude, same. And I was gonna say, it's interesting that like from all the people I've met who grew up here, they really embrace their hometown culture, which I can't say the same for, you know, all the Midwest cities that I played, which I've loved, you know, playing Indiana and the Bible Belt, great small towns, you know. I love those gigs.
Those C market the C market cities where just everyone comes out on a Monday night. Yeah.
But in the scene and sound that I'm in, you know, nobody in Charleston, West Virginia is like, yeah, fucking coal mining.
Yeah.
You know, they're also, you know, wanting to be in this extreme skate, snow, surf environment. So for myself, I grew up in the capital of hockey.
Right.
And I grew up playing hockey, and I thought hockey was the biggest sport. I thought, this is what I want to do. This is where I have the most fun. This is where I belong.
Yeah.
And then all the turmoil started of like, you know, politics with parents. And if you're in that scene, you have a lot of pressure to perform, and you don't really get to be a kid, which...
Interesting.
I never really realized until later. I thought I was being a kid. I thought I was having fun. But I finally, you know, discovered Blink when I was 11 or 12. And I was like, this seems so much cooler. Like, I want to play guitar. I already know piano. And, like, I want to be a part of that whole Warped Tour scene. That Tony Hawk Pro Skater vibe.
Yeah.
Like, so that...
did it look...
It's media that drew me in.
Yeah. Did it look like what you said, you saw that whole like Warped Tour Southern California life? Did it seem like, I guess what was my question, like my wife is from Spain, so like when she saw all of that at a younger age, she's like, that's so like stereotypical Californian, and it's like surf. Like, did you view that from Canada? Like, wow, like the perfect sunny like surfing Blink-182 burrito day. It must be the life. Like, is that what you viewed?
Exactly. I looked at it as, man, what are we all doing, wasting our lives not living there?
Okay,
and a lot of my friends agree. It's like, yeah, dude, you're doing it right. Just go out there and make it happen.
No shit. Okay.
So I'm like,
it's a cool take on it.
Yeah,
like,
I'm more glad each day that I do it, and I got so many opportunities in 2019 when I finally like made the jump to come here.
Yeah, good for you.
Where I was eventually working at like this merchandise shipping warehouse for Warner Music and Live Nation in Carlsbad, and sharing a rehearsal room with Tom DeLonge. Like, their gear was right there.
With Ava, or?
Yeah.
Damn.
Alon Rubin's drums.
Yeah.
Were on my drum carpet, and I was just like,
that's fucking cool.
They would practice there. I helped him like change this like snare on the downbeat part before the bridge, and I was just and like got to see them live implement that change that he wasn't hearing because he didn't record those songs anyway. It was like all that stuff was just like this huge inspiring epiphany for me of like,
imagine when you're 12 years old, like you didn't think you're going to be in the same room.
I mean, part of me is like, why didn't I do this when I was 16? But part of me is also like, had I gotten these opportunities when I was 18, 19, I probably wouldn't have known what to do about them.
Right.
And I still feel like I'm, learning each day on how I should have handled things, or how I could, you know, get to the next chapter of my life in a better, more organic way.
That's life, though. I mean, at least for me, like you're always every day is a new day, and you're always figuring out new things. At least that's how it was for me. And you live and you learn, and there's no regrets. You can only look forward. And damn, we're getting deep now. So
no regrets, skis.
Yeah. So who's taller, you or Tom?
Oh, me. That's the first thing he said. He's like, oh, it's nice to see other tall musicians.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I was like, yeah, dude, you have no idea. Like, I know all about your back problems.
He's a fucking giant, man.
Yeah, he's about 6'5", 6'6".
Incredible. Yeah. I met him, I ran into him at a sushi lounge right down here off Poway Road years ago. Me and my buddy were sitting at a bar, like during happy hour, just after work. And he walks in with his wife and sits down right fucking next to me at the sushi bar. And he kind of knew we knew, he like gave us the wink, like, oh fuck, and just like he was cool. He was cool enough, like we took a photo with him, and nice. I'd like interrupt him a few times with his wife, but I gave him my old CD. I'm like, I'm from Poway. That's all I'm gonna say. He's like, oh, did you get kicked out like I did? And I'm like, no, kind of almost, but yeah, he was fucking cool. But like we're eating sushi side by side right next to each other, and like he was getting pretty lit off wine. We were taking our sake bombs. We kind of like cheered, like, hey, cheers, bro. But like I didn't want to bother him too much, but like I heard their whole fucking conversation, and like
crazy. Yeah,
it was pretty funny. But
it's always like a should've, would've, could've after you meet someone that everything about.
Yeah.
And they know a lot, but it's like, oh, dude, if only you knew how much you affected my life.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, it's got to be like, that level where it's like you can't even like go out to have a drink or have like a meal with your girl. It's like people coming up. It's got to be fucking cool, but like also kind of like taxing at the same time.
Depending on your personality.
Depending on the personality. Yeah. I've never been there. I haven't gotten there yet.
I always say if I get to the point where people are coming up to me and talking my ear off about the art I've created,
and I will changed your life.
I will be so accepting and kind of used to that, because I get people coming up to me all the time, strangers talking to me about my height, which I did nothing to earn, and I'm like, I'm not excited about my height at all, and I'm tired of talking about it most days.
Yeah.
But I get it. But if those conversations could become about what I've made and what my successes.
Yeah. How you affected their life in a good way. How your art has changed.
I don't think I'd ever be tired of being stopped.
Of course not. Yeah. Like, bring it on, bitch. No, I'm kidding.
I would love to tell you all the things that you don't know. Let's go.
Yeah. The ugly side to all of this path we followed.
Sure, yeah, even like the behind the scenes stuff. Like, I'm a huge documentary nerd. I've seen probably more documentaries than
me too.
Than movies, because I just love band documentaries, especially.
Me too, dude.
I love the lore, man.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that with I haven't watched it yet.
I just meant like band lore. Like,
I thought you meant something else, but okay.
I didn't know there was a movie called The Lore.
Lord, something that's out right now. You know what sick documentary I just watched the other night? Beastie Boys. They have a fucking awesome.
Seen that one.
It's on Apple TV if you have it. It's like them two just going through each chapter of the band. Cool. They're in like a theater setting with slideshow and different video clips, and they fucking roughed it, man. And they were around in the 80s and 90s, late 70s too. So, and they have so many damn singles, and I'm slowly getting back on the Beastie Boys again.
Sweet.
Different than Blink, obviously, but
no, for sure.
But yeah, check it out. It's on Apple TV. It's just called Story of the Beastie Boys.
Story of the Beastie Boys. I'm going to.
Yeah.
One I recommend to people, and they're always like, I didn't expect that from you. The Lil Wayne documentary.
Is it good? I keep seeing the thumbnail.
Well, I don't know if it's the same one, but it's the one from when the Carter 3 was just being released.
Okay.
So they follow him in those dark days of his, syrup abuse, and but it's so inspiring how hard the dude works. And how he's all about himself, but you see that it's creating this machine of an artist.
Yeah.
So he's literally just a work ethic through the whole thing. Every like hotel room he goes into, he's setting up his mic, and he made 1,000 songs that year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You gotta check that out. Okay.
It's hilarious too. Some of the shit he says, of course.
He's a witty motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's pretty fucking witty. Did you watch Hired Gun? Did you watch that documentary? It's basically the life of a hired musician.
Oh no, I heard about it.
It's fucking sick. It's on Prime. It was on Netflix, but it's on Amazon Prime now. It's basically the life I essentially lived, like in my late, or I'm not like early, like mid-20s, like just being hired for all these bands, and it's very relatable because it's like you can get the call one day like, hey, band's done, or like, hey, so and so is going into rehab, band's on hold right now. I mean, these are like top dog, LA session guys that are playing with like Alice Cooper and Katy Perry and shit like that. I never made it to that level, obviously, but it's a lot of the stories they say are very relatable to like what I did from bands I met with Epicenter.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Hired Gun,
check it out. Is it like a 2-hour movie or a series?
No, it's just like an hour and a half documentary, but Hired Gun, check it out.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was a series.
Like a series, yeah. No, it's it's
cool.
a straight documentary. It's fucking sick. It's very relatable because, I mean, for me, it was very relatable, and then just kind of being like the session hired guy,
For sure, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
So, what were some of the big bands you were touring with?
So I toured a lot with, I'm trying to think, like, I toured with a band from here for a couple years called Weatherbox.
Oh, yeah, Brian...
Warren.
Yeah.
So,
James Clellan, and I used to hang out with James Clellan, and
James
we'd always hang out with Brian.
No shit. Yeah, that's right. James was... Suck that guy's dick if he could. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, I toured with them for a couple years. They still did really well in my term, like during the tail end of the band. We toured with a lot of like Top Shelf Records and Triple Crown Records bands. Then after that I played with a band called Hotel Books.
I've heard of them.
They're like In Vogue Records, but I did tours with like I Prevail and Hawthorne Heights, like Warped Tour kind of stuff. We did Warped Tour, and then I did a world tour with them in 2017. Wow. Yeah, it was sick. We did like Europe, Russia, China, Japan.
You play on any of their albums?
I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not on the recordings.
Okay.
Like he has like a session guy had a session guy that doesn't want to tour.
Okay.
And like, I was fine with recording, but I just wanted to tour essentially.
Sure.
And I had booked him at Epicenter. I booked him his very first show, and just kind of became friends. He's from like Central California, but I helped him out with some shows down here, and just kind of stayed in touch. I knew his booking agent through another band I was working with, and he said, hey, they need a guitar player next week. Can you learn all the song? It was like one of those calls. It's like, yeah, I remember Cam. Of course I'll do it. And the thing that I wanted to stay with them is because they had that world tour posted, so that was really cool. After that, I played with... What was the other band? Another like Warped Tour band on Pure Noise Records called Forever Came Calling.
Oh yeah, I played with those guys a bunch.
That shit.
Yeah.
In Canada or?
No, like Oklahoma City.
Just randomly cross and pass.
Even Weatherbox. I was gonna ask if you ever played Grand Rapids with them. We might have crossed paths there.
Yeah, Intersection. Is that the venue?
It was a smaller venue that I played. We played like the early show, and they played
like the
later show.
Yeah,
but we hung out and we're still there. So I might have seen you. I don't know.
That's wild. That's random.
This is like 2010.
Okay. I started playing in 2014 or 15.
Okay.
But I'm sure maybe somewhere we've been in another same venue together besides the Epicenter.
Probably.
But yeah, with Forever Came Calling, I did Europe with them once, and then just a couple U.S. tours. I did an acoustic tour for the first time a couple years ago.
Nice.
That was pretty fun. You ever done like a full-blown acoustic run?
No, just a lot of acoustic shows in the middle of tours.
Just in the middle, yeah. It's fun, man. It's just loading in 2 guitars and merch, and playing small, intimate rooms, and it's less money involved, but it's a different feel. It's less stressful, and it was cool. I learned a lot from all 3 of those bands, because all 3 of them were just so musically different. Obviously, I had to learn different styles of music, different people, different crowds, like different booking agents, different management kind of feels, and I was kind of like thrown in the middle of all these guys. So it really helped me a lot, actually.
You just play guitar in those bands, or you sing backups?
I did some backup vocals, but like all the bands, like all those professional touring bands, like they had their vocal arrangements already to go. They just needed a guitar player.
Yeah, sometimes you were just guitar.
Yeah, essentially guitar. Yeah.
So, you know how Forever Came Calling was have you ever seen the documentary?
Yeah. The
so that was 2000...
Like early...
9 Warped Tour?
Something like that.
Or 2010?
9 or 10, yeah.
So
a lot of that was staged on like the documentary.
Yeah, the guy who made that documentary, I did that whole tour in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And they were selling CDs in the parking lot, and me and my drummer were playing...
Just like build up
a generator in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So when they were picking the parking lot, leeches as one of the 5 stories of the movie.
Yeah.
They talked to us. They were talking to my drummer mostly, and they were like, would it be cool if we rode in your guys' van with you and came around? And he was like, you'd have to talk to Mike, but that should be cool. But at the time, we had like
a bunch of gear.
One of the merch teams riding with us because they didn't like the bus they were on. Which I was like, I didn't invite these dudes, but sure, I'll take a hoodie. You can get in the van.
Yeah. And so they pawned it off to FCC.
Maybe that was one of the reasons. Maybe there was another reason. But anyways, they ended up going with them because it just probably seemed like a better story, a more authentic story. And
really,
you know,
think
small
yours
town in California.
Yeah. You would think yours would have been cool though, like two guys like hustling and doing the big production.
You know, there's probably a few bands in the loop of possible bands that would get it. Maybe it was, you know, for whatever reason, maybe it was like, well, no, we don't want to expose a band that sets up with a generator, or next year everybody's going to be setting up with a generator.
That's an approach to look at it, but wow, small world.
But they did the movie release in Toronto. Kevin Lyman was there. I think it was like Canadian Music Week they did it. So I went out and like got to see everyone again and watched it, and I was just like, oh man, I wish they picked us. that blew them up. That got them their start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, small world, man. I mean, they never got to become the next like story so far or neck deep like in that ball game, but like they hustled. You know, Joe's a great lyricist and really underrated songs. But that's small fucking world.
And they did like Japan and everything too, right?
Yeah. And when I was with them, we had Japan and Australia booked. Everything was set. We were gonna release it, but something messed up with our flights. Some deposits didn't go through. Yeah, I was fucking pissed because always wanted to do Australia and New Zealand. Have you been down there?
No.
Oh man, I heard it's a lot like, I heard Sydney's a lot like San Diego, and just the surf, skate, punk rock culture is existent, never dies. So that's my blood, you know. That's where I want to be.
But you did tour in their handicap bus?
No, they didn't have that when in my terms. They had to get rid of that, but just Econoline van. But I did do Japan with hotel books for a week. That was wild. That was fun. That's cool. Yeah.
So you got to go there. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's people don't like applaud after.
Oh, really?
After it's like just completely silent out of like their culture. It's all I respect. So it's like, do I suck? Do I everyone's like just googly eyed at you, and like no one speaks English out there. We hired like a translator to translate to order us food and everything, but he could barely speak English, so we had to like use our Google Apps like translator to like get around. It was fun.
Was he a driver too, or did you have a driver?
We had a driver, photographer, and like a translator, and like they spoke like broken English, but it's like going to Eastern Europe or anywhere like where people don't speak well English, but it's a lot like speaking with your hands and like trying to mouth things out, but like that's how like we came back to the States talking like I don't know, like why am I doing this? But it's like it's funny seeing that. And then it's cool visiting different places and seeing different mannerisms. Like in Russia, like this means yes and this means no.
Oh really?
So in certain parts of like Russia, but like in St. Petersburg, it was like that. It was a little third worldly, but just weird things like that, that you don't think about those things, but like we're like that's actually kind of cool seeing different sides and different personalities and just different cultures. You've been there. You know what it's like.
I'm glad you shared that. That's sometimes all the inspiration it takes for the kid watching this to be like, you know what, I'm gonna pick up my guitar and finish that song.
Yeah,
it's like that's
thanks, man.
One of the most inspiring things for me is, my parents had gone to Europe. My family, my brother went, and they were like, do you want to go? Like, we're going on vacation. And I was like, I don't want to be a tourist when I go to Europe. Like, I want to get
experience
there
it
through music.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
Sure enough, the next year an opportunity came along, and I was like,
I'm seizing it.
My family didn't experience this. You get to see the real culture of like the bars and everything.
Yeah, and actually like commuting through each country and just seeing like just the castles and just seeing pictures don't do justice. You know what it's like. And I guess moreover, like going back to me, like my thing is whatever, like all these interviews I always do, it's like, if you're like younger and wanting to pursue this lifestyle, this path, it's like get it, after COVID is done, get a job at a venue and just work hard, be the bitch, work your way up. Because that's what I did, and I didn't I didn't get to play guitar for Foo Fighters or Blink, but like I got to play with some semi-notable bands and make a living and go overseas. And
it's wild how small the industry is once
network.
you get into it. I mean, even the podcast that I just released today, I went and moved into a new rehearsal room in Orange County.
You're roughing it, man. This is rock star shit. Like, this behind the scenes rock star shit. That's gonna like you're gonna be talking about this in your movie on Netflix in 10 years, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I got a million stories of roughing it, especially on that Europe trip.
Yeah.
But just the irony of how small the scene is. Like, I had my friends, the Zawacki brothers, that played drums and bass for me on 2013 Warped Tour. Had them on the podcast over Zoom yesterday. I'm editing it last minute, staying up till 3. Luckily, missing my train. Again, I got to apologize on camera for missing yesterday. This was supposed to happen yesterday.
It's all
Anyways, they let me in that rehearsal room a day early so that I can edit this podcast. And one of the guys sharing the room, when I go to look up their Instagram handle, Jacob DeGraff is following the Zawacki's brothers band. So I'm like, no way. Like, how do you know them?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I used to be in a band with them back in the day. And now I'm sharing a rehearsal room editing the podcast for these guys. Yeah. And that's the only way I found out. How many other, second degree...
That's wild, man.
Do I actually know that I just, wouldn't find out if it wasn't for, just working through the mud. And also, to your point of, just work at a venue and grind it out, there's so many musicians I know that have done that. Mm-hmm. And even moving out here, one of the first jobs that I got, because, I don't even have... a proper work permit to work a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
Was working at venues doing sound and just getting $100 a night.
Right.
And it's something that I know how to do.
Right. But that's a skill though. It's not like people think it's an overlooked thing, but it's fucking useful. It's handy in life. 4
hours goes by quick when you're watching bands. I don't mind doing it.
Yeah. But yeah, man, everyone has known you've always been a hustler and you're a hard fucking worker. So you deserve it more than anyone, So you got a good thing going, and this podcast kicks ass. Your music's great, and you have a good personality and a good outlook towards everything. So
I appreciate you seeing it, man, and everybody down here who's been helping me out. It's like it's really motivating for me. Everyone I meet down here is super supportive and willing to check out my music, and obviously it's right up their alley because they grew up around that style of music. So things have been going really well for me finally, and if I can relay any lesson or message to people to finally have some sort of success and break out of any sort of curse that they're feeling, is just leap and be a yes man. This is finally what I've started to do in my 30s. So.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
End it right there. We're getting deep here.
Man. I think we covered a lot of bases. We're almost at an hour. We're losing a lot of sunlight here. I'm glad we did this outside.
It's beautiful now.
I feel like we're our brains were churning even more in this environment.
It's peaceful, man.
We're feeding off the nature.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to get out right now? I mean, this is getting pretty deep. I
don't know, man. Like I always tell everyone, I wish we had 3 hours, but we can do a part 2.
Yeah. Whatever you want,
I hope things go really well for you in Philly.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And you got a place to stay whenever you're touring out there down the road.
Sweet.
And we have an extra room and a shower. We can afford that now.
Dope. Thanks, man.
And I hope things get back to normal soon, and venues are back, and live music's back, and I miss it. It's been a funky I but 2021, here we go.
Yeah, I'm positive that things will come back stronger than ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, whenever you're back down here, hit me up. I'm sure you'll be doing stuff with Ready, Set, Survive too, and I'm always checking them out. So.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Right on, man.
Cheers,
brother. That does it. Thanks a lot.
Rock and roll.
Scott Svikla, everyone. His name means rock. Thank you so much for checking out this episode. Thank you, Scott, for taking the time to be on and share your wisdom and experience and ideas for the video game. That was really fun. If you haven't already, be sure, please, to subscribe on YouTube, follow on Instagram or wherever you're hearing this, leave a comment or review, smash the like button, and click notify. All that stuff really helps me, and it will help you see more of these podcasts. If you enjoyed it, if you got this far, you must have liked something. So thank you again for checking this out. Thank you, Vocalese, as always, for supporting our voices. And I'll see you next week for another episode of State of My Art Podcast.